right, folks, here we go. This was a big day for the podcast. I am here, Mr. Josh W., and I'm with PJZNY. Those are our handles. You can find us on Instagram and on social media. We are with SFL.media, and we're going to talk a little more Trump today, a little more Iran. We're going to just basically, not as much about the war, but just Trump in general. Things are just completely off the rails. And while we had already planned on doing this, but Patrick read to me. I hope you verified this because I'm actually really shocked by this.
It's real.
Yeah, a tweet that the president put out within, I guess, the last hour, 2 hours or so. And I'm gonna let you jump in. What's we already know maybe what's wrong with this guy, but how much worse is this getting?
Well, I mean, this is the tweet that Trump put out, and I think it says a lot. He says, Israel is our top ally. In fact, they're far more important ally than the American people themselves. This is why I have taken out Iran to help them. And further, they are important because they are God's chosen people. And as a new-founded Christian who reads the Bible, I now realize that Israel is God's sacred people, and they are going to heaven even though they haven't accepted Jesus. He
Yeah.
posted this on April 19th, so you can go see it on Truth Social at 7:10 p.m. prime time.
Okay, so this was a couple of days ago. Yeah, pretty crazy to say that they're more important than the American people. I don't know what anyone has to read
And
more
who's
than
he
that.
talking about? The American people is the U.S. and is the government. So if they're more important than the American people, he's talking about himself. He's saying they're more important to me than the American people, because the American people are the nation. The American people are clearly more important to the American people themselves. So what he's saying is America's not really a nation. America's me. I'm the leader, and it's what I want. And Israel's more important than me than what you want, the people.
He came out the other day and also defended the fact that he's like, Israel did not force me into this. He's seeing that there's constant talk about that this was Israel's war and that they forced his hand. He's constantly defending it, which only makes to me make it seem more guilty. At least own it. He seems to own everything else. For as much as he probably lies or what, and they all lie. So I don't put him in any different category than anyone else. He just seems to run off at the mouth too, like a child. Not even aware of really what he's saying anymore. I don't know if you heard this, but the media stayed away from it. But now they actually talked about it. He's had huge outbursts during some of these meetings where the Pentagon actually removed him from a situation room. Have you heard about this?
No.
Where he was screaming at everybody so much. And I think it was after the pilot got downed in the plane with the rescue mission or whatnot. But he is going berserk in the meetings, and to where, I mean, things are not good. And I also saw Robert Barnes commented on, and again, this is all conjecture sources. He actually has brought up, and you can research this, he's brought up the access to the nuclear codes. He is starting to float the idea that if Iran doesn't play nice with this and this ceasefire ends or whatever happens, now he's starting to contemplate nuclear war. And I forget the general's name, and this is my fault for not knowing, but where one of the top generals like, absolutely not. We will not do.
I saw that he was requesting the nuclear codes or the
You did see
nuclear
that.
football, and they told him no. And this
Yes.
seems to be what Trump does when he unravels. When he unravels deep, and he's attacking all the people on his side, all the influencers. So he's let go of trying to do public opinion anymore. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care. He knows he's a two-term president. Maybe he'll try to steal a third term. Who knows? But for right now, he doesn't care what the people think. He doesn't care what his most important influencers think. He clearly seems to care what Israel thinks. And there was a lot of stories that basically Bibi Netanyahu showed up with like a cart and pony. He put on a whole show for him. You can free these people. They want freedom. They're ready. They just need you to come in and bomb them. And from what I've heard and from what I've read is that the Israelis do this for every president, and every president says no. But Trump is Trump. He's a unique individual, and they convinced him to do it. And Trump is, like they say in the Godfather movie, he's a bad wartime consigliere, except in this time he's a wartime Godfather, and he's terrible at war. He likes to threaten his way into things. And normally with the U.S. military behind you and the power of the U.S. government, the power of the U.S. legal system, you can threaten anyone or any entity. They're going to do what you want, except a motherfucking terrorist. A terrorist has spent his whole life never willing to give in to the U.S. They're not going to give in here. They're more than happy to go down with their country. They're more than happy to die there. They want no part of American-style democracy or American-style life. They chant death to America. They like their type of life, brainwashed or not. It's what they want. You cannot convince 90 million people they want something other than what they want without years and years of propaganda. So he's fucked, dude. I don't think that his method of winning wars, which is threatening people to do what you want, can win in this situation. I think he's so desperate. He's attacking everyone, putting out these ridiculous tweets that clearly Israel is making him put out. And what does this talk about? Listen to this. This is what he says. He says, and furthermore, they are important because they are God's chosen people. So God chooses the Israelis over other people now. Certain religions are
Well,
better than
I
others.
don't know as much Israelis as he means the Jews.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to say, though. Even though it's in the Bible, it's an interesting thing to say. And then he says, as a new-founded Christian, even though he's been riding Christians into office for a decade now he's a new-founded Christian, and now he reads the Bible. I don't believe he's ever read a chapter in the Bible. Does anyone
I don't
believe
believe that
that?
either. That was one thing no one believed when he went evangelical a little bit in the Republican Party and had to capture the evangelicals. I mean, he's obviously full of shit.
He's read more of the Epstein files than he has the fucking Bible. I'll tell you that. I
I
promise you
believe
that.
he's read more Spider-Man comics.
Yeah, and he's read more back of the shampoo bottles than he's fucking
You know what I mean?
read fucking yeah. But
Yeah.
and then here's this other thing that he put out, and it was just interesting. I want to read this one to you. He said, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Azmin Munir, I'm murdering that name, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade in all other respects, remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such a time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded, one way or the other. Sorry, his cadence is weird. It's hard for me to read, but here's
Yeah.
another thing where he threatens Iran, and then he's in a thing. He's got to blow up their bridges, he's got to destroy their civilization, and then he needs an out. He's scrambling for an out for days. So he gets Pakistan. Pakistan bails him out, gives him time because the Iranians won't negotiate with him directly. And so then before the end of the weekend is out, he does this on like Thursday or Friday. Over the weekend, he starts tweeting that they've accepted all of his terms. I know that they haven't accepted all the terms. The whole world knows they're never going to accept all of his terms. But he's tweeting it, a whole barrage of tweets. Then all of a sudden, it comes out that that's not what happened. And even though he's completely made it up, now he's deeply offended. And now he wants to bomb the bridges and burn the power plants again.
Well,
And it's like
the biggest threat he's got.
dude. This is Groundhog's Day. This guy steps in a bear trap, gets his leg out, circles around the tree, steps in the bear trap again. It's unbelievable.
Well, because here's the problem, Pat. You already said it. There really is no end to this. If Iran's not going to accept these terms, they're not going to accept these terms. And it's not just Iran. You got three people in this problem. You got Israel. So this is a polyamorous or not amorous, a poly-hateful relationship. So it's just because one member of the group here sees things one way doesn't mean the others. I don't see there's an end in sight to any of it, honestly, because I don't think anyone's going to agree on anything. Part of it, which is Israel, I think, wants to annihilate Iran. It's not just about regime change. You're never going to get regime change, so you want to annihilate it. They are close to playing with nuclear war. To hear that Donald Trump is even remotely asking about that, I think only makes it scarier again, that this guy, again, may have a cognitive, serious situation with dementia. Is it to the level of Joe Biden where he's walking around, has no idea what he's doing? No. But I don't know if you heard, Joe Biden had an incident on Easter with the bunny where he didn't know where the fuck he was, whatever. And Donald Trump had an incident where right in front of the Easter bunny, he was asking questions and he starts going into wartime talk when they're like trying to honor kids and have fun on Easter. And he's going right into war. So
that was bad.
Yeah, so I mean, the guy's just out of his mind. But the fact that we're even talking about nukes, the fact that he's having conniptions and fits or whatever, I just don't see how anything positive is happening here. It just seems like you're saying when you call it Groundhog's Day, it's just stall, buy some time on what to do, but nothing's
Iran has given us their terms. They control the strait. They charge $2 million per ship that goes through. 100 ships go through a day. That's $200 million. They have sovereignty. They want security guarantees. They want everything paid for that we broke over there. So no one's going to agree to those terms, and they're not going to change their terms. And their leader had his whole family murdered. He has absolutely no reason to. And he knows if he gives into the U.S., he'll be tortured, killed. Who knows what will happen to him? So they're better off to go out on their shield. I think that Trump is completely screwed. I don't even know if you can use nukes in the area. Aren't we partners with all the other Arab states in the area? How are you going to blow up one and
Hey,
then
that's another great
not
point.
have fallout in in
Absolutely,
the other countries?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the least of the worries. I mean, we should be very scared about nuclear anything, but you're absolutely right. How can he make those countries feel safe about fallout or anything that happens to them? And then again, if someone else uses a nuke, it's about the escalation. If Israel uses a nuke or the United States uses a nuke, does China or Russia decide, hey, fuck all this? So it creates a one-upsmanship that could be very scary. We should never, ever, ever be talking about nukes. These countries have them, and that should be where it ends right there. And again, it's very scary. Um, the problem is this blockade. Also, a lot of it's. I think. I mean, the news is talking about it, but maybe it's not so sexy as Iran's firing on ships and hitting them. We fired on an Iranian ship, and I think I think it was one of their aircraft carriers, and we captured it or whatnot. So there is still battles going on in the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, there's missiles being fired, not necessarily into countries, but in that strait, it is not peaceful and quiet.
Oh yeah,
And
Israel's bombing Lebanon, and everyone's bombing each
yeah,
other. The U.S. is hitting ships and stopping ships, and Iran is doing the same thing. And there is no end in sight to this because the world, not just us, will never accept Iran's terms. And the world, not just us, doesn't want to put boots on the ground there. Even Israel doesn't want to put boots on the ground there. So it's stuck in this stalemate, and it has to be setting in. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. At some point, it has to set in with Netanyahu that his fever dream of taking over the whole Middle East and making it peace for his country and going out as this like Jewish Jesus type character who saved the Jews, the new Moses, is not happening. He looks like a fucking fool. He's failed midway with his giant plan. He has a mess in Gaza. You have Trump about to leave office that's in tatters. You have the worst standing of Jews in the world that they have had since probably Nazi Germany was in charge. I mean, people do not like Jewish people right now. They do not like Israel right now. They don't want anything to do with these wars. And it's all because of Netanyahu and what Israel's done. They were revered. People used to idolize the Jews. These people had the worst atrocity happen to them, and they turned the other cheek. They were revered around the world, and that's why everyone protected Israel. Now they don't even
those
want to
days
give
are over.
Israel defense money. How is Israel safer now than it was before the war? Netanyahu has put his whole country at risk. He has put his whole country at risk. He's put the world into war. He's killed tons of people in Gaza and made a giant mess over there, and now it's all coming down, and he doesn't have enough time left in Trump's term or even in his own lifetime to fix this mess. The man is going to go out as one of the worst politicians and leaders in the history of the Middle East.
Yeah, if you didn't like Trump before, this is sealing the deal. A couple of things come to mind also that made the news. Tucker Carlson, who was part of the cannon fodder of him insulting the influencers that basically helped him win. I mean, you literally went after the fucking Mount Rushmore right now between Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and I'm drawing a blank on the fourth one, but he literally goes after like four of the biggest names that have supported him, whatever. And Tucker actually made a comment that he's struggling a lot with it, that he even endorsed Trump. I think he was asked in an interview after, do you still like Donald Trump? And he's like, yeah, I think he was lying through his teeth. I think he's really upset about being called out by Trump. Oh, Megyn Kelly. But he's now expressed regret openly that he endorsed Trump and had people.
That Tucker's rebuke of Trump was very strong, and I thought Megan's was even stronger. And then you have Alex Jones. He's lost everything for Trump. He's about to lose his whole show to The Onion, and they're going to make him a living parody. So, I mean, people have really sacrificed for Trump, and Trump doesn't value it at all.
No, and I got to be honest. I mean, you could say what Megyn Kelly helped Trump get. She's a small fish. Alex Jones has a huge following, and without a doubt, helped Trump get in office. And to the point where I was jumping off the Trump bandwagon, and I'm listening to Alex Jones really up until maybe 2 weeks ago, honestly, where he was still trying to play devil's advocate for him and say that he's getting a lot of bad advice and this and that. And I'm thinking like, man, you're going to make me jump off your bandwagon too, man. You're playing too nice with this guy. This guy is out of fucking control. And then when he finally said it, he's like, hey, man, 25th Amendment this guy. And Robert Barnes, who I really, really respect, as intelligent as anybody, this attorney, a constitutional attorney, and he was like, yeah, man, like, put this guy in a bunker, like, just stick J.D. Vance in there and tie this guy up and put him in a bunker. And it wasn't even like a day or two later that Trump went in on everybody, including Alex Jones, especially when he said to 25th Amendment. Now I watched the InfoWars not even 2 days ago, where Barnes went into a very, very deep dive into this guy has serious cognitive dysfunction. Their dementia is setting in. It's more on a not forgetting where he is level, but on an empathy level, on a you're just saying anything you want level. You're lashing out. you're just losing control. So there's different levels to dementia. If anybody's ever dealt with it, it's very different. So Ronald Reagan forgot everything, whatever. Joe Biden was forgetting things, maybe didn't know where he was sometimes. I think Trump knows where he is. It's not a question of that, and I don't think he's all the way there yet, but something's definitely wrong with this guy. And
He doesn't seem to care anymore. There may be health issues that he knows
right,
about and that he's not telling us. He seems like he's playing a short game now, not a long game. You know what I'm saying? And it's very, very interesting. And I just wonder, pissing off the Democrats is one thing. The Democrats are always pissed off about everything. But now you have a lot of Republicans pissed off about you. A lot of Republican influencers are pissed off at you. And I just wonder what Trump will do, because I think he's playing with fire. He's done a lot of criminality here. There's been a lot of money moved around. And Trump's going to be hard to get a hold of. But if the Democrats and the Republicans that are after him, if they get his kids smeared in some legal issues, or God willing, they got Ivanka or Jared, and Jared is very out there potentially to be snagged in some legal issues, I think Trump's not going to be able to handle that. And I think that's coming down the pipe. I think that there's a company, I think it's called World Liberty Financial, and the boys, even Barron, Trump, Don Jr., and Eric, have scammed a lot of people in this crypto company. And there's some big crypto investors in there, and they basically wrote a rule, and it said you can't sell your crypto, and this is hidden in the contract, until after the Trump presidency. So the Trump people took all their money out now. When he leaves, it's all going to collapse, and they're going to leave all these big crypto millionaire and billionaires with the bag that invested in it, and they're realizing now, and they're getting pissed, and they're filing lawsuits, they're going on the news, all this stuff.
yeah,
So
I
I
think
could
this
just
is
see a
Eric
situation
Trump's.
where one of
Yeah,
the kids gets snagged.
look, I don't know if a Democrat's going to get in next, but I think the Trump family's in a lot of trouble. When a Democrat gets in, I don't think a Republican administration necessarily go after them. And who knows? Who knows what will happen? Because I think they've lost a tremendous amount of the base. I think they're lying about what they think. MAGA has been completely fractured. MAGA is not a Trump thing. He stole the term, first of all, and it's an America thing anyways, whether if you believe in it or not. It's not a Trump thing. It's about this country and the policies that he lied when he campaigned on, that he did not back up. And he fractured it now because there's a lot of people that still listen to Candace Owens. There's a lot of people that still listen to Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones. They're not going anywhere. Trump's going to eventually be gone. Those people are not going. He still believes in the antiquated media for some reason. He loves the antiquated media, and he loves the antiquated yes men. He's a yes man guy. So Mark Levin, who the only people that listen to are 60-plus-year-old boomers and Jews that seem to think, hey, maybe he's a smart guy. He's written some books.
You're so right about that, that he does love the traditional media. He mocks them and he knocks them, but he fucking loves them. And I think he underestimated his podcaster level media. I think that the legacy media is not as powerful as your Alex Jones, your Candace Owens, your Tucker now that he's in a podcast, your Megyn Kelly, your Andrew Tates of the world, your Nick Fuenteses. I think losing those people is actually the beating heart of his movement.
Yeah. And listen, it's the same thing for the left. The Krasensteins and Sam Harris's and anybody on the left. People listen to them. Jimmy Dore. I mean, you can go to any other side of
the
this.
Young Turks,
Nobody's listening to CNN anymore. No one's listening. MSNBC had to rebrand itself to MS Now.
I tell you what, I watch
failure.
CNN, and it's a bunch of idiots arguing that I, as a layperson, feel smarter than. So I'm not getting anything from their argument. I go on MSN Now, and they're just complaining and crying about Trump like a bunch of fucking babies. And I go on to Fox News, and they've got their head in the sand. They're not even reporting the real news. So I don't know.
And they're stupid too. And he loves Fox.
So they're empowering podcasters now because it's the only place you can go for real news.
Trump wants yes men. That's why Hannity is so big to him. And I think that at a time there were yes men because they liked the policies and like what he was doing. But this war and this allegiance to Israel, now all he has is Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. And okay, so you got these two Jewish media people or whatever, and that's all you got. I mean, nobody's really backing him anymore. You just named 7 people, 8 people that if you took their listening audience and combined it all together, it's got to be 1 billion listeners. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just don't know what, it's really sad because you watch the downfall of somebody who just completely fell apart. But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what he's getting us into and how he's fucking us up, fucking our economy up further, fucking up the future for everything. That's what I'm more concerned with now, that I mean, this is somebody that I believed in,
The
and
embezzlement
he
too is
lied to us. He's
out
another
of
liar.
control. He's getting us into these wars that are wild, and he's clearly saying, as we know from the stuff that we talked about, he doesn't care what the American people want. He cares what he wants and what Israel wants. Then on top
Yeah,
of that, they've stolen so much money, it's ridiculous. So I don't know if you know about this library, the Trump library he wants to put up in Miami. Somehow he convinced them to give him like a $40 million piece of land. He's putting a hotel up on it, not a regular library that he's going to be making money on. He's going to transfer the Qatari jet to the library so that he can keep it and use it because presidents are in control of their own library. Then he had all of these donations and gifts get put into the library fund, like hundreds of millions of dollars, and then he closed down the account and took the money.
yeah. I mean, again, this guy's a shyster, and it makes perfect sense that he backs Israel the way he does because that's how he does business. I mean, it is a perfect bedfellow. I mean, is anyone surprised that this guy continues to do this? Because
He
now
wants to be approved by everyone. He wants to have friends. He wants to be the hookup for everyone, and he wants to help everyone. And he doesn't care who you are or what you do. And he said that. So if you come to him and you're a horrible, murderous dictator type person, but you need a favor, and he can get in with you, and he can make that transaction happen, he's very happy to do it. He may be a billionaire, and he may be a genius politician of his own making of sorts, but he's also a person that's very simple in his need to be like loved and liked. You know what I mean? It's very obvious and it's
oh
very
yeah, the ego and
childish. And he has a very,
absolutely.
very realtor way of looking at the world. Like, let me put you together. Let's make a deal. You know, it's all
That
about
is, and that's and unfortunately we asked for that and we got it. So again, at the end of the day, folks, you'll be able to determine it. It's as the Trump world turns. There's going to be more. We're going to talk more about it. We're going to sign off now. SFL.media. There's going to be a lot more Trump news. This is not going anywhere. Hopefully, we're still alive a month from now. We can keep talking about it. But when this guy's talking about nukes, we already know Israel's talking about nukes. I don't like it.
No, I don't want anything to do with this stuff in the Middle East. And I think Americans, listen up, America. Americans have to get used to the idea that there are other countries out there that have other beliefs, other interests, other ways of life. And it's not our job, and it's not even responsible or polite for us to go in and push our type of life on them. There are people in Europe that are living very looser lives than us. There are people in Russia that are living a different style of life, people in the Middle East living a different style of life. And if you want to have a revolution in your country, it's your job to have a revolution, toss your government and put in the new rules. Regime change doesn't work. Selling the American idea of life to people in the Middle East who want nothing to do with it doesn't work. And the American people got to realize we may police the globe. It doesn't mean we need to turn the globe into a mirror of ourselves. We need to let people evolve on their own timeline.
Yeah, it worked for a lot of years without us doing it. It should work moving forward. I agree. SFL Media, I'm Mr. Josh W. is my handle. PJZNY is his handle. Comment on everything. Follow us. We love you. Appreciate you watching. And we'll get these clips up. We got the long form. We got the clips if you like them quick. And thank you for watching.